What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and this is Supergirl. I don't know why I looked it up. I just wanted to say it. Supergirl Season 4, Episode 16, The House of L. L? What, you guys... L? Or no, L? I don't know. I can't... My camera right now, I think, is showing me that this is L, but I think it's flipped still, so I think this is actually going to look like L. I don't know. But again, I like the play on words, like the Man of Steel earlier this season. Excuse me. Now the House of L is in Lex Luthor, Lena Luthor. I liked it. Good play on words. But yeah, finally tying in a lot of things that have happened this season. Really well done. Like, really well done. Because the whole thing with the Russian Supergirl and Kaznia and all this stuff, I'm just like, what is going on with that? And then all of a sudden she looks like she's dead. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. So we just have this random Supergirl that's there, and then she just dies. Okay, waste of a storyline. But no, it's not a waste of a storyline. They had a purpose for it. They've been setting it up. Very, very clever storytelling. Like, I've got to hand it to them. The way that they showed everything that led to this moment, very clever. Um, and even his idea of I kind of figured this was going to be the case. Like, he was the one that sort of had them groom Ben Lockwood, and sure enough, that's exactly what he did. You know, he got Ben Lockwood to be a bigger power, so that way Supergirl, or well, this Russian Supergirl can come in and she can sort of have this battle against, like, it gives her something to fight against in her mind, because she'll see this guy that's trying to get rid of all aliens and stuff, and then of course Supergirl's going to try to stop her. And yeah, it's very well set up, and it's a very clever plan. You know, everything that he did, the little nuances that went into this plan, you know, having Otis and Eve be his lackeys through all of this, making sure, you know, once he found out about the Harnell, realizing that, well, we need to use it to save her life, but Lena's not going to work with me unless I give her a reason, so yeah, I'll give myself cancer. Like, it was just, it's such a Lex Luthor thing to do that. You know, it's like, oh yeah, I'll just give myself cancer, then Lena will want to work with me, I got this. I don't know, it works so well. And the guy that got to pick, the guy they picked to play Lex Luthor, he's doing a good job. Like, it's not necessarily a Lex Luthor that I have seen before, but also I kind of think he fits for this show. Like, he's doing a good job with it. Like, he's making it kind of his own thing. Maybe it's comparable to a Lex Luthor that has been seen before and I just haven't seen it. But personally, like, of the Superman movies I have seen, this is different than anything I've seen before. And I really, really like how he's playing it, and I like everything they did with the story. I will say, so first of all, Melissa Benoist, I mean, I've talked before about how she's very clearly a good actress. Like, if there's one thing that I can definitely say that this show has done well since the beginning, is that its main characters, the main actors, are all good. Like, I've not always liked the story, I've not always liked the characters, but the actors always do a good job with what they have. Like, I gotta say that they know how to act. This one just sort of cemented it, you know, listening to her do a Russian accent through the entire thing, and then seeing her, like, it being Supergirl, but it's not necessarily Supergirl. You know, it's a different type of Supergirl because she is a lot more naive. She doesn't know about the world. She's being raised to practically be a killer. So yeah, I thought she played it really well. The scene with the cabin being blown up and all that, I like that scene. I would have liked it even more if they hadn't shown us Otis, like, getting Mikhail, like, seeing him there with him. I'm like, okay, so he got Mikhail out of there, right? Um, like, I don't know, it would have hit me a lot more emotionally if I just saw them setting up the missile outside of his house, and then Eve pushing the button, blowing up the cabin. I would have been like, oh my god, that's insane. And then show Otis and Mikhail in the car, which I love that scene. Like, I'm so glad Otis is not dead. I don't know how he's not dead, but I'm glad he's not, because it's so funny to watch him. Like, He's having so much fun with the rule. He's like, all right, so look, I've been dead before, okay? So if you ever see a bald guy, just play dead. So his deliveries are so perfect. But yeah, I think that scene with the cabin could have been a lot more of a what, and then we see the scene in the car with Mikhail. But I don't know. It's just a little thing that I wish they could have done a bit better there, because it would have the emotion of the scene would have hit me a lot more. Like seeing Russian Supergirl like on the ground just wailing. I'm like, I should feel something, but also I know Mikhail is okay, so I feel bad for her because she's being manipulated, and I know this, but I feel like that scene could have been a lot more impactful if we felt what she was feeling, and then come to realize later that no, it's okay. Like they didn't actually kill a kid; they wouldn't go that far. Um, but yeah, I just a very very good setup, and I'm really excited to see where the rest of the season goes now because we do see he does manage to get the Harnell into Russian Supergirl, and now she's like ready to fight. I guess we see her in America, so I guess the rest of the season is going to be focused on that battle. I mean, obviously Ben Lockwood, Children of Liberty, still a problem, still causing like this divide in America. But now you've got a an alien to fight against, and Lex Luthor masterminding this whole thing. So yeah, I'm really curious to see what they've got planned next. Like they did such a good job setting this up, and I'm really impressed. You know, because this is not a show that I'm typically used to seeing clever writing like this. Like most of the time, it's you know just a bunch of simple stuff being shown to me. I'm just like, oh yeah, I know where this is all going. But this really had me guessing until they introduced Lex. Like I had no idea, and now that I see this episode, I'm like, okay, they had a good plan. These scenes that just seemed weird and out of place and didn't connect to anything, now they have a place. Now they make sense. Now they all connect. I love it. It's good, which is weird for me to say because felt like I've not felt this way about the show. I don't think ever. Even in the first season where it kind of got good near the end, I still don't really feel like, oh, this show is awesome, but this did a good job of getting me there. And it's so weird to me. Like, I didn't actually look at all the ratings for this season because I didn't want to get spoiled, you know, with descriptions and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, I'm kind of curious to see if the ratings started going up after this point, or if I don't know, people were still just like, where's my representation? Where's the liberal agenda? We need to see Alex have a girlfriend. Like, because that's how people are with these shows. But anyways, with that being said, on to the next episode. See you there. Now, episode 17, all about Eve. So the main story in this one is definitely the best part. The side stories I'll touch on first just because, I don't know, it's not necessarily that they're bad. I just feel like they're kind of distracting from the main plot, and that's what I want to get back to the most because, I don't know, ever since they introduced Lex back, or, well, not back into the series, but introduced him into the series, it's definitely been the best part and the most exciting part. So, like, talking about Jean and his father, I don't know, I didn't really... It seems like his story just seems so disconnected from everyone's now. Excuse me. So, I don't know, I don't feel like I'm really connecting to it. Also, I totally called the joke they were going for, because there were so many moments whenever it was building up like it was something intense, like John's father would be like, then there's only one thing we need right now. He's like, what? What is it? And I'm thinking, what, a cup of coffee? He's like, how about a hot cup of coffee? And I'm like, what? Huh? Did I just tell the joke before the joke happened? Like, are these jokes that predictable? But that's what they were doing, though. Is like his father was just kind of taunting him, teasing him until he finally just got angry. He's like, I am Martian Manhunter. So, yeah, I don't know. It seemed weird because I thought he'd also, in another episode before he went after Manchester, he's like, fine, then I will be a Martian Manhunter. So I thought he'd already kind of discovered that. But then, of course, he wanted to find out how he had to take care of the sacred text of the Martian people and all that. So, I don't know. It just seems weird. It also seems like an excuse to get Martian Manhunter off Earth. during this time, so that way he can't help Supergirl, because that would be like the easy way to do it, is just have Martian Manhunter help you out, because then that's now you've got a Kryptonian, a Martian, and some Brainiac. I don't know what his alien species is called. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's just an excuse to get him out of the way so he can't help out against Russian Supergirl. Then Jimmy's stuff, just he's dealing with the repercussions of what's going on after being shot. Apparently, he's still dealing with something. Like, he doesn't, I don't know, he's not like feeling the physical effects until something loud happens and his ears start ringing and he starts getting what looks like a splitting migraine. So I don't know what's going on with him or what the point of it is. But yeah, that just seemed very random. Ben Lockwood, I don't know what's going on with him exactly. Because when Jimmy went to talk to him, of course, he was like, I'm not working with Lex Luthor. Because I don't think there's no way he would know. And in fact, there was the moment whenever he was talking to that one senator who said she was going to vote against the repeal, but then all of a sudden she did vote for it. And so I think at that point he was kind of like, okay, what's going on? And then watching the president's speech after all of this is said and done, like, he's not a stupid guy. I almost kind of wonder if he's going to realize that he's just a pawn in Lex's plan. And I don't know what his story is going to be. If he's going to end up being a bad guy, or if he's going to feel like, if he's going to feel used by Lex and all of this. And I don't know if he's somebody who, even if Lex is giving him what he wanted, as far as like, getting the aliens out of here, and that's basically everything he wanted, was like revenge on them for coming in and introducing their tech, and that put his father out of business, and ultimately it's what killed his father. So you could say that this is perfect for his revenge, because Lex is basically helping him get all of these aliens out of the way. But at the same time, I also feel like, just like what was happening with the president, when the president was using him to just up his poll numbers by, shaking hands, taking pictures, but that's all he was doing. He's not a fan of that. He's not a fan of just being, just being a part of somebody's plan, just being used by somebody. So I don't know. I mean, he could end up just deciding he wants to work directly with Lex, but I don't know for sure. The way he was looking at the TV made me think of that, because he didn't look happy. He looked angry with the fact that the president was giving this speech about, how aliens are not welcome here and Supergirl, your Republican enemy number one. Like, he didn't look happy about it. So that's the only reason I'm thinking he might possibly be against Lex's plan. But I'll be curious to see how he plays into the rest of the season. But yeah, the main story, I mean, it's all about Eve. That's the name of the title. That's what it is. It's Supergirl, Lena, and Alex trying to track down Eve, trying to find out what she's up to, and ultimately she's pretty good too at being, a manipulator and a planner and all that, because Lex probably came up with most of the plan, but she executed it very well. Putting herself in the White House in disguise, and then Supergirl goes and finds her, but it's a hologram, and that's puts her in the Lex suit filled with kryptonite, so that way she can't stop rushing Supergirl from going in and lasering the crap out of everyone dressed up as Supergirl. So yeah, it was a very clever plan to make Supergirl look like a villain, who is just attacking because the repeal went through. So yeah, really, I liked the plan. I liked how clever it was. I liked how they did play into just all of the things that Supergirl and Alex and Lena were trying to do. However, two things that I'm not that much of a fan of. First of all, I feel like Lena is sometimes too hypocritical, because she was talking in this episode, they found out she was using Harnell, and Supergirl got upset about it. And then Supergirl kind of came clean. She's like, look, I'm sorry, I just have the weight of the world on my shoulders. If I can't take care of everyone, I feel like I failed. It was a very good moment. But then Lena doesn't say anything. She's like, thank you for that. And that's all she says, while still not telling her that she's the one that cured Lex. She's the one that, Jimmy got shot by somebody working for Lex because Lex wanted to be cured. and then ultimately they find out it was Eve. And so even at the end though, like they find out Eve shot Jimmy, and I think Alex was like, "Why would Eve shoot Jimmy though?" And Lena's just like, "I don't know. Her deception runs deeper than we thought." And I'm just like, "See, this is why Supergirl gets angry with you. It's not sometimes it is because she does have like a different moral standard than Lena, which makes sense. But most of the time it's because Lena doesn't tell her, and she has to find out later. And then when she does find out, it pisses her off. And I'm just like, this is why. This is why people don't trust you, because you lie to them. Like, I don't know. It feels like sometimes she plays that, oh, you don't trust me because I'm a Luthor. Like, that always seems to be the card that she pulls. It's like, oh, that's why you don't trust me. I'm tired of you not trusting my intentions. Oh, blah, 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 blah. No, you're lying to people. People don't trust you because you don't tell them the truth. So, I don't know. It was really frustrating whenever they had that fight, but then she didn't tell her the truth, and then she didn't tell her the truth at the end of the episode. And all I'm thinking is, well, once they find out from Lex, probably, that Lena helped him, they're just gonna think she's a villain again. And I don't know, I hate the fact that she's gonna probably be like, what, I'm a Luthor, so you don't trust my intentions? No, you idiot, you lied. Hello? So I didn't like that. And also, I do feel like the one story, or the one part of the story where they went and visited Eve's cousin, I don't know, it felt a little tacked on. We find out this cousin had cancer and then Eve gave her the cure. It seemed a little too tacked on, like it took up a little too much time. Now, granted, I don't know where they would have put that time elsewhere, but it just seemed like kind of a diversion that would just pad the runtime of the episode a little bit. It didn't really add or take away anything. We found out Eve gave her the cure, and then that's pretty much all we found out aside from where Eve worked, which they probably could have looked it up and found out that way. But yeah, I like the team working together. I like the fact that Lena is helping them out, because I do, even though she's being very hypocritical and I don't like that, I do think Lena's going to be very, very useful for the rest of the season, because we've seen before, like, she and Lex, they're very close. They're very even when it comes to intelligence. Now, the one thing that Lex has over Lena is he's able to push emotion aside and think, logically. Whereas Lena, in this case, is very emotional, feels very hurt because Lex used her, and that is kind of fueling her a bit more, which I think is going to impair her a bit. But at the same time, she's the only one that's going to be able to outthink Lex and his plan. So I feel like she's going to be very useful for the rest of this season. Because let's be honest, I mean, Supergirl and Alex, they're not going to outthink Lex. Like, I don't think I've seen Supergirl pull one, like, oh, see, you thought this. Well, actually, there was the one time where she planted a ring that had a tracker to track Manchester and his cronies earlier this season. That was actually, I forgot to talk about that, but that was actually well done. It's the only time I've seen them plan something like that in the show. So yeah, I don't think Supergirl and Alex are going to be able to outthink Lex, but if they have Lena outthinking him, and then they're kind of there to do the fighting and the tracking and all that stuff, I think it's going to be pretty interesting to see them go head to head, because it's going to be a very good matchup. So yeah, I mean, overall, pretty good episode. Just have a few issues here and there, but that's it for this one. On to the next one. See you there. And now, episode 18, Crime and Punishment. So, first we'll talk about Jimmy. Apparently, there's something going on with the Harnell. It's affecting him somehow, which I'm not sure why, because we didn't seem to see Lex dealing with that at all. But also, he did transfuse some of that, I think, into Russian Supergirl, so I don't know if maybe that's why it's not affecting him in the same way as it's affecting Jimmy. But I guess we're going to find out, right? Like, hopefully, I hope it's not just something where it's just an isolated thing where, oh, just Jimmy is dealing with this, nobody else is. And it has nothing to do with the bearing on the story. So yeah, we'll see where that's going. As far as everything else, it was good. I'm glad they put Otis back together, even though I don't know how, because it's so much fun to watch him ham it up. Like, it's very cheesy, it's very goofy, but that's kind of the fun of it. He's just a goofy, cheesy character. Like whenever she turns into Kara and she's talking to him, he's like, "Wait, what's a reporter doing in here?" And then she, it's like, "Oh, I'm just talking about prison stuff. Do you want to comment?" It's like, "No, I like to parachute without any subtext." Or I don't even remember what he said, but it sounded smart, but also not smart at the same time. Like the words he was saying sounded intelligent, but what he said sounded stupid. He's just a fun character to have. Um, but yeah, so it was interesting though to see Supergirl and Lena teaming up and looking into Lex and everything he was doing at the prison, finding out he had a secret. Which, first of all, how was that so secret? Because, I mean, the bottom part of the wall was darker than the top part that slid up. And also, when did he have time to make that? I mean, I know it's Lex Luthor, but come on. How much power does he really have? But yeah, ultimately they do get in there, but can't find anything because Lex, just, I think, figures out that Lena and Supergirl are looking into that. So he has Otis blow up in the cell to destroy all the evidence. But luckily, his cellmate adjacent, like the guy that was in the cell next to his, apparently downloaded a lot of what was on Lex's computer through the Wi-Fi. So he ends up giving it to Kara at the end of the episode. So that'll definitely help them going forward. But yeah, I really like seeing Lena work against Lex because you see she's very smart, very intelligent, probably smarter than Lex, and he even says several times that like he talks about how smart she is. And I honestly think like he does respect her and he does think very highly of her. But then she didn't side with him. She doesn't think the same way he does. So I think because of that, that's why they are so like at odds. So it's a very interesting like sibling relationship, and I really like what they're doing with it so far. Like I feel like they've handled it very well. But yeah, anytime that he's like getting into her head because he knows the one thing that keeps her off her game is her emotions because he doesn't deal with that. So it's the only way that he can best her is by making her emotional, making her like think about all of the mistakes that she did. So that's why he writes down every mistake that she's ever made just to remind her of it to keep her off her toes, which is pretty ingenious. So I really like seeing them go head to head. Aside from that, it was a little weird the whole prison sequence because so many prisoners are just like, yeah, I can take Supergirl. What? Like, I don't know. It just seems weird that they're just like, yeah, I got this. I'm gonna use a pipe. A pipe, guys. A pipe will be the death of Supergirl. Oh, it bent. Like, duh. I don't know. It just seemed weird that all these guys still went at her even though they didn't stand a chance. But yeah, other than that, we do see Lockwood using his power more, getting these weapons to take down Supergirl. Colonel Haley continues to surprise me, though. Like, I never know what's going on in her mind, and this is another episode where, again, I just don't know what she's thinking. Because it seems like, oh yeah, she's definitely going to help Lockwood because it's her duty. It's what she's, supposed to do. That's what her job is as a colonel. But then Alex manages to get through to her, and it's her daughter, seeing the curfew and stuff and all of this, that all of these sanctions in effect to try to capture Supergirl that's scaring her daughter. And that's what causes her to decide to press the button twice to make sure Supergirl doesn't come. And I'm just like, yeah, it makes sense. But I don't know, like seeing her so hell-bent on finding Supergirl's identity to this, like it's almost like, I don't know, like because they did such a good job at making me not like her during that whole section where she was trying to find Supergirl's identity and trying to investigate it, because they did such a good job of making her unlikable, now that she's trying to be more likable, it's hard for me to really fully trust her. I don't know, she's been like the most enigmatic character in the entire series so far. Like I just don't know what to expect from her anymore. So I don't know. We'll see where her story is going. I feel like they're gonna finally stop Lockwood and everything, and then Supergirl's gonna be like, "Well, I guess everything's fine." She's gonna be like, "No, it's not. I still need to know your identity." And it's just like, "What? You were helping us for so long. I'm so confused." But yeah, ultimately at the end, the president makes the decision to deputize the Children of Liberty, which, again, it makes it feel like the president is just working like for the bad guys. Like, it makes him seem evil. Like, how... I hope they explain that, because when they're doing the flashback, I'm thinking, okay, so at some point, Lex contacted the president, right? Like, there was some point in between when he took over for as the presidency and then now that Lex contacted him and like threatened him and said, look, I need you to work with Ben Lockwood on this. I need you to, stop these alien attacks. I don't know, just something that would make his change of character seem more believable. Because so far it just seems like, he's just an idiot. He's just a guy who all he cares about is his poll numbers. He's just a crooked politician. I don't know, it makes him less interesting because of that. But yeah, so ultimately now they're going to use terrorists to like try to find all these aliens, and all I'm thinking is people are going to see this and think, well, now you're working with terrorists, which of course, I mean, they'll probably lie about it and say, no, Children of Liberty aren't terrorists. They're humanists, human rights activists. I don't know. But yeah, it's a weird thing that they've been doing this season, and maybe this could be them just trying to make a statement, about our current president and being like, see, presidents are bad, crooked politicians are bad. All they care about is poll numbers. Like, yeah, no, allegiances don't, like, if you're trying to compare him to our current president, his allegiances don't do this. His allegiances don't flip-flop like this. So I don't know. It seems like a weird decision with his character, so I really hope there's a reason other than, we just want to make a statement about politicians. But I guess we'll see. But yeah, I mean, overall, these 3 episodes, obviously the Lex one was my favorite so far this season, probably throughout the entire series. But yeah, these last 2, they've been okay. They've had their problems, but I'm still interested to see where the story is going, what Lex's ultimate goal is. Because his goal is he wants power. He wants to rule the world, pretty much. But also, he does hate Supergirl. He does hate Superman. He hates anything he can't control. And so, I'll be curious to see what they decide to do with him. What they decide to, like, his plan is going to be ultimately for this season. So yeah, I'm excited to see where the rest of it is going, and it's a great feeling to have. So with all that being said, let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. We can talk about and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Supergirl reviews, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.